My name is Daryl Limos. I'm a technician here at Snake Farm, and I was bitten by a forest cobra at Fitzsimmons Snake Park at the age of, I think, 22. Yeah, it was quite a severe bite. It happened inside the cage itself while robbing the water bowl out of its enclosure, and on the corner of my eye, it was so quick, it just tagged me on my hand and got up, and basically when I got up, the snake was still in my hand. So basically I shocked my hand just to kind of release him. He released, I got out the cage, closed the door, went to my manager, and I said to my manager at the time that I had been bitten by a forest cobra. He went white, and then yeah, just added first aid, applied pressure bandage to my arm, kept my arm raised up, and about 20 minutes into the actual snake bite, I could feel sensations in my hand, pins and needles around my lips, and my slurred speech started getting slurred speech. I reckon it must have been about half an hour. I was in hospital, in ICU. Woke up 3 days later after the snake bite. Severe swelling and a lot of pain. Intensive care for 1 week, high care for 1 week, and then surgical ward for 1 week. So a total of 3 weeks in hospital. Discharged after probably the seventh of the third week. Yeah, and then had to have a skin graft, all that. Yeah, and then I was discharged. Yeah, it was scary. I wasn't given antivenom. I was treated symptomatically. So whatever symptoms came up, I was treated for those symptoms. It was mainly swelling that happened, but they were getting worried that the swelling was coming too close to my chest. So they had to lance the hand in three different places to actually lower the pressure on my hand. And basically the venom destroyed all the flesh. You could actually physically see the tendons in my hand as you could move my fingers. You can actually see the tendons pulling. Yeah, that was a crazy experience.
How painful was it?
To describe the pain, it was like dipping your hand into a pot of boiling water and leaving your hand there for about half an hour. Yeah, it was really, really intense. And it was gnarly. In severe cold weather, yes, it does throb. You can actually feel it. It does get a bit sore in winter in a sense, in cold temperatures, yeah. But otherwise, yeah, no, I got full use of my hand. It was a West African forest cobra. I got bitten on my right hand. The flesh was destroyed. They had to lance the hand in 3 different places, underneath my hand and on top. My fingers were like pork sausages. Yeah, and it was like a balloon basically. It was quite scary. Doctor said I was very lucky that I nearly lost my hand. Yeah, so I'm lucky to have a hand. The snake bite happened at Fitzsimmons Snake Park in Durban. No longer exists. It used to be an anti-venom supplier or producer, and I'm working here at Snake Farm. To have anti-venom, it's crucial. You have to have anti-venom. If you don't have anti-venom, the chances of you surviving a snake bite can be less than nothing. You have to have that kind of product around. It can actually save your life.
I'm Stelos B. Fortune. I'm a snake curator, snake handler, a pathologist. So in here in Snake Farm, we're working as a snake handler, and we're doing a research about the anti-venom, especially in this, because we're living in a very, very rural area. So I am one of the survivors from the snake bite. A forest cobra bite me on my arm, as you see. So I've been in a coma for 7 days, from 21st of May 2011 till 12th of June 2012. It's the day I come out from hospital. So I was bitten by a forest cobra. It was like after lunch, 20 past 2, I think, yeah, at the time. Go straight to the hospital, goes there and then passed out. ICU for 7 days in a coma. Wake up there was no doctor, they were on strike. And I was on blue. My whole body was heavy blue, swelling a lot, and there was no one to assist there, only nurses. They know nothing about snake bite in there. So I woke up there, it cut him. It was the first time. It was from here up to here. That's the way I first cut from theater, because they saw that it was only here where I was bitten by a snake, and then they opened, continuing swelling a lot, pus, everything. So they continuing each and every 3 to 4 days till they got an anti-venom. So what we're struggling, especially in our communities in here, I'll be honest with that, in our communities in here, as us a snake farm in here, it's phone calls from snakebite, snakes that we relocate in here, we took in here, in new houses and everyone. We're saving snakes, saving any humans in here. Problem is, in our clinics in here, there is no anti-venom. No one knows about anti-venom around in this community. Northern Zululand, it's where bites each and every day occurs. No one taking care of it. So we the reason. That's why we here in Northern Zululand to try reduce snake bite, snake
What happens if
victims.
someone gets bitten? How, like you get bitten in Duku now, what do you have to do?
So if you get bitten by now, straight to the clinic. It's an hour from home to the clinic, because you need to walk or hire a car. While there is poor, very very poor families around in here, you can't afford to buy a grocery by yourself. How can I get the money to arrange and hire a car to clinic, and then clinic 3 hours waiting for ambulance. After 3 hours to the hospital, 3 hours again. That's 6 hours or 8 plus hours in between. And then you're not, because when you in the clinic you have any help. No, you're there waiting for ambulance, no help, no nothing. So if it's a black mamba, you will be dead by the time. That's a massive problem in here. Yeah, that's the special snakes that we have in here a lot. Spitting cobras. It's Mozambican spitting cobras. For fathers, snorted cobras. And they found them in the houses, right inside the houses. It's very, very poor peoples around in here. So it's a very, very highly risky in here. That's how we said no. As we are snake farm, we need to really, really help with reducing snakes, education, relocating snakes, like helping them to take some to rescue some snakes and help some people too. Not only people, even animals. They dying in here. Like each and every time we usually have some phone calls from the clinics trying to assist about snake bites. Community with their dogs. We know that no one can help dogs in here according to a snake bite. That's very, very hectic in here. Including snake bites and knowledge and means that kills a lot of people in here. So we as us in here doing a highly researching and then more educational to the community about snakes and how we can help each other, humans and snakes. Yeah. So my name is Skelos Bia. I was bitten by the forest cobra. I'm the survivor from the snake bite from the forest cobra. So my name is Skelos Bia. They call me Fortune. I am one of the survivors from the snake bite. I was bitten by a forest cobra. Yeah.
See like this, there's no
Yeah. Yeah. On the forearm, yeah, it bite me here. So like, yeah, so they have to open up to here and then swelling and then continue opening in here. Yeah, so it was here. The bite was here, right in here. So of course it was swelling a lot. They cut it from here up to here, and continuing swelling, they continue cutting in here. So that's why I was like every week going to the theater and again, so to clean the pus and everything in there, and then do a skim draft from here up to here. So because it was swelling a lot. Yeah.
My name's Donald Schultz. I'm a herpetologist at Snake Farm, and I was bitten by a southern Pacific rattlesnake in South Africa. Now, the southern Pacific snake is actually the snake that Snake Farm's researching in California, and we had one over here 25 years ago or so, and snake bit me. I tourniqueted my arm, drove myself to the hospital, and woke up 3.5 days later in ICU, totally naked, on a ventilator with urinary catheter in, and I was like, oh shit, this is not good. And for the next day I was on a ventilator, so every time I try and drink or anything, it's impossible, you're sedated, and when I'd fall asleep, I'd stop breathing for a full 24 hours and the ventilator would kick in, go and breathe for me. And after a day of that happening, eventually I could breathe through my sleep, and they took me off the ventilator. It was like the nastiest thing ever. Reconstructed afterwards what happened, and the snake bit me and hung on to me, and I shook it off, and I immediately knew it was bad. It was on my left hand, tourniqueted my arm, and then I don't remember anything. For about 2 months, it was just like blacked out my memory. And then afterwards, I went with an ex-girlfriend of mine to the hospital, and the nurse that was there basically said I walked inside. She went white. She thought I was dead, like when I left the hospital. And so I walked inside, wrote down what bit me, wrote down my name, and collapsed and stopped breathing. And they tubed me in Boksburg, drove me to Johannesburg, put me on the ventilator. And after 3 days, the doctor was like, well, he's not waking up, let's try and give him South African antivenom. And they gave me South African antivenom. Within half an hour I was awake. And then within a day I was breathing. And that's for a North American rattlesnake. So if I was in different parts of Africa and I didn't have money, I would have died, because without the ventilator, you're dead. And without money, I probably would have spent more time on the ventilator, but I got antivenom. But in areas like this, where you don't have antivenom or ventilators or transport to hospital, you really have a recipe for disaster, where people either are going to lose hands and arms all their lives from the close proximity snakes. We have boomslang living here. We have cobras and puffaders down there. We see them frequently. And that's part of the reason we're here, is to immerse ourselves in a situation where there's high snake bite, poor treatment, and see if we can rethink how snake bites are treated. So part conservation, part snake bite removal, part education, and finally what we want to do here is have a human doctor treating snake bite victims on their way to major facilities. So I think the work that we're doing with snake farms is highly important, and it can be extremely fun. So snake farms rethought the whole antivenom production model, and one of the big things is, instead of using mammalian blood from horses, we use snake blood. So we eliminate horses altogether, and that makes the antivenom cheaper, faster, and seemingly more effective to use. So our plan right now is to have centers like this where we can not only educate people on snake bites, but also research how well the antivenom works and then make it available to the community. Currently, South Africa's antivenom, the venom comes from all over Africa, gets shipped to South Africa, horses get injected, the blood gets collected, and then the antivenom shipped back to the countries who need snake antivenom. What we've done is we're trying to localize antivenom production. So if you need antivenom in Mozambique, it's made in Mozambique. If you need antivenom in Zambia, it's made in Zambia. And that's going to basically democratize essential medicines. So we think snake farm is important because it's a better, faster, seemingly more effective product. And it can be made literally in the bush. The facility we have right now, we can make antivenom. Antivenom is vitally important. You have a person dying from snake bites every 3 minutes worldwide. And in South Africa, the biggest problem is where a lot of the snake bites are is in remote areas like this. And even though there's antivenom in the major cities, it's not in the field where it's needed. So the importance of antivenom in South Africa is getting it to the places that are rural, have a lot of snake bites, and don't have access to transport. And that's literally where we are in northern Zululand, is probably the most rural you can get in South Africa.